you don't know me, my name is Fabi. I'm an English teacher, and I help people get the score they need on the IELTS test and do the test only once. No one should be doing the IELTS test more than once, okay? So, today we're going to talk about a topic that I think last week I had this conversation with about five different people, okay? And the question is, which test should you do? IELTS, PTE, or TOEFL? Which test should you do? Which one? You can write in the comments. Do you know which test you're gonna do? Do you know this test that I'm talking about? You can pop in the comments any questions you might have. So the most common tests nowadays are, especially if you want to study, work, and or live abroad. IELTS. Santiago said IELTS. Cool, Santiago. Cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you the best one, in my opinion, of course. But we're going to talk about all of them today. And my intention here today, guys, is just to give you information to help you choose. Okay. I'm not going to prepare you for any of the exams. All right. I'm just going to give you information because information is key at this point. All right. You need information to decide what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to talk about IELTS PT and TOEFL. I'm going to tell you all the differences and then you can make your own choices. I'm going to give you my recommendation, but you can make your own choices. All right? Cool. So, um why am I talking about this today? Well, I don't know if any of you have been practicing for the IELTS or PT or TOEFL or any test. Okay. I don't know if you have been practicing. But what happens a lot, guys, is sometimes people start with one test and then they don't succeed. And then they change tests. And that can happen for many reasons. Sometimes people start practicing for any of the tests, any of the three that I told you about. People start practicing, but they are practicing the wrong way. And then they try the test and they don't succeed. And they try again and they don't succeed. And then they say, oh my gosh, this test is too difficult. I have to go for an easier test. And then people go and they change tests and they start all over again. But instead of doing the test maybe 2 or 3 times, they're going to test 4 times. And then they say that the second test was easier. When actually, sometimes that might not be true. All right. So that's why we're having this conversation today. So you can make your choices. All right. And you stick with it. And then you do your test and you get the score you need. That's why I help my students do the test only once. So we avoid, sorry. So we avoid this thing of doing several tests and spending a lot of money on tests. Okay. So that's my intention here today to help you with that. All right. Cool. So let's go. So, what do all these tests have in common? PTE, IELTS, and TOEFL. They all tell you your English level. And why do people need to know their English level? Because they want to study, work, live abroad. Okay. So they need to know their scores, right? Sorry. They need to know their scores. Okay. So it doesn't matter which one you take, the purpose is always the same. Okay. But there are a few differences. Okay. So the IELTS, which is International English Language Testing System. That's what IELTS stand for. Okay. So what does the IELTS do? Okay. It helps you with immigration, to study abroad, and to work abroad. And it's recognized all over the world. Yes, the IELTS test is recognized all over the world. If you want to do an international test, do the IELTS test. Okay. It's very popular in England, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Okay. And like I said before, it's recognized worldwide. I have lots of students who are going to do a master's in Germany, Italy, Spain. And guess what? They have to do the IELTS test because the classes will be in English. So they have to prove their level of English. All right. So that's it. Okay. So that's the IELTS. Then we have the TOEFL, test of English as a foreign language. Okay. So it's usually required for universities in the United States. That's the TOEFL. Universities in the United States. Okay. You can also do the IELTS for the United States. Remember, the IELTS is international. Okay. But the TOEFL is really academic. Okay. Heavily academic. It's mostly for people who want to study abroad. All right. Cool. Then we have the PTE, which is the Pearson Test of English Academic. All right. So the PTE is computer based. Everything's in the computer. You don't talk to anybody when you do the PTE, right? Everything's in the computer. Okay. The computer checks it too. AI is checking your answers. Okay. And is accepted in Australia and New Zealand. That's it. The PTE is not as international. Okay. Not as international. Okay. So that's just one of the main differences. All right. Now, um, let's think about the test, what the test is doing, why, um, what the tests are like. Okay, so we can see the differences. All right, cool. So, IELTS. You can do the IELTS on paper or computer, but I would recommend doing it on the computer. Okay, because it's better. I will make a video about that later. I can make a live about that. Okay, so the IELTS is computer or paper. TOEFL is computer, but you record your speaking and then a person will listen to it. The PTE, everything is in the computer. And who is going to check your speaking? AI, artificial intelligence, will check your scores for you. Okay. In some parts of the PTE, there might be people involved, but most of the test, artificial intelligence will be checking. So IELTS, you can do on paper or computer. And the speaking is face to face. I forgot to say that. When you do the IELTS test, the speaking is face to face. Okay. You have a person talking to you, right? TOEFL, everything's on the computer, but you record your speaking and then someone will check it. And the PTE, everything's in the computer. AI will check everything. All right. Cool. Now, IELTS, all skills are checked. Listening, reading, writing, speaking. TOEFL and PTE is only academic English, which can make it harder for some people, especially if you just want to work abroad or live abroad, you don't want to study abroad. So that can make it a little bit harder for people. Okay. IELTS, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Okay. TOEFL, about 3 hours. PTE, about 3 hours, 3 hours. Okay. So all of them are anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 hours. So the time is a little bit similar. Okay. Scores. So the scores can be a little bit tricky because, for example, the IELTS test, the top score is a 9. Lots of people say, oh, I'm going to get a 10 on the IELTS. I said, oh, that's impossible. And people say, why, Fabi? Don't think I can? I said, no, because it's up to 9. So the IELTS test is 0 to 9, TOEFL 0 to 120, PTE 10 to 20. Okay. So if you do the PTE, you get a 10, it's actually a 0. Lots of people don't know that, but it's a 0. With the IELTS test, if you do the test on the computer, you can get your score in 2 days. TOEFL, 5 to 10. PTE, also 1 to 2 days. Okay. So if you want quick scores, IELTS or PTE, TOEFL is not a good option. Okay. So that's basically the difference. All right. But now, okay. Oh yeah, and test locations. So all of them, so when it comes to IELTS and when it comes to TOEFL, Basically, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you will find a place to do it. It doesn't matter where you are, you find a place. My hair's a bit funny here. Oh my God. But better. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you are. You can do the eyes and you can do the TOEFL. The PTE, on the other hand, it can be hard for you to find a place to do it. So if you decide to do the PTE, for example, make sure there's a test center where you are in the world. Okay. Yeah. But again, guys, remember, before you decide which test you're going to do, check with immigration, check with people, because the PTE is not accepted everywhere. That's another problem with the PTE. The PTE might not be accepted. I've seen people do the PTE and then they did it, they were able to achieve something because it was accepted, and then they tried to do something else with the same test, they couldn't. They had to do the IELTS because the PTE was not accepted. So be careful with that. All right, be very careful with that. Cool. Now, let's go now pros and cons. Okay. So, IELTS. Pro. With the IELTS test, you have an academic and a general version. Guys, academic English tends to be a little bit tricky, especially because is not everyone has contact with academic English all the time. So the IELTS thought, this person wants to work and this person wants to live abroad. Why am I going to ask this person to do an academic test if I don't need to know if this person's English is academic? I just need to know if this person can communicate at a certain level. So what happened? They created the general and the academic. Okay. So that's one good thing about the IELTS test. If you just want to live abroad or work abroad, you can do the general. But if you need to study, then you have to do the academic. Okay. I don't think one is harder than the other. They are just very different. And again, it's personal. Which one is better for you is quite personal too. Okay. Another thing with the IELTS test. Okay. With the IELTS test. Okay. Someone is asking me if I'm American. No, I am Brazilian. I am from Brazil. I was born in Brazil and I live in Australia. I'm not American now. Okay, guys, you can pop questions, okay, if you have any questions. Okay, so with the IELTS test, the speaking is face to face, meaning you talk to a real person. Okay, you talk to a real person. And why is it good? I know some people are shy. So maybe when I say, oh, the speaking test is with the examiner will be in front of you asking you questions. People who are shy might not like that. However, there are lots of benefits of actually doing the speaking test with a person. Yeah, compared to a computer, for example, when you do with the PTE. Okay, so you can talk to the person, it's more natural. Okay, I don't know. How many times do you talk to your computer? Sometimes I talk to my computer when it's not working. I talk to it and I say, oh, come on, computer, please work. I need you. I talk to my computer like that. But I usually talk to people. Okay, so for me, I think that doing the speaking test with the person would be better. Okay, so just keep this in mind. It's more natural. True. Okay. Again, guys, out of all these exams, the IELTS is the international one. So it's accepted basically everywhere. Okay, it's international. So if you choose a test that is not international, what might happen is you might do any of the other tests, and then let's say you change your mind and you want to do something else, and then you have to do the IELTS test. The IELTS test is the safest one when it comes to that. Okay, and you can get the results in 2 days. Yeah, they started that recently. Before it was about 5 days if you did a test on the computer, but they were giving the results in 2 to 3 days. And now they say, no, you get the results in 2 days. That's it, which is pretty cool. Okay, so you get the results very quickly. So you know your scores. Cons. Disadvantages, things that are not as good about the IELTS test. Like I said before, if you're shy, the speaking test can be a problem. Okay, it can be a problem. And some people say that the writing part is tricky. Yeah. But honestly speaking, the writing part of the IELTS test is only tricky because people are not practicing correctly, people are not getting feedback. Okay. So if you're studying right, I don't think it'll be a problem for you. Okay. And again, guys, all the cons I'm going to tell you here, there are ways to work with it. Okay. There are ways to work with it. But again, whether you want to work with it or not is really personal for you. Okay. Cool. Now, TOEFL. Pros, if you want to go to the United States, you'll be recognized. If you want to study in the United States, you'll be recognized, which is pretty cool. Okay. And they have, it's really academic. So if you're going to study, academics good for you. Con, okay, things that are not so good. The speaking is recorded. So you're going to be blah, 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 blah. And then someone will hear it and mark it. Yeah, that can be a little bit tricky, especially for people who can talk for a long time. Okay. People sometimes find it a bit frustrating. And it's a long test. I remember I did the TOEFL in 2004. A long time ago, long time ago. I remember after the test, I was dying. It was so bad. I was so tired. So tired. It's a very, very long test, guys. Very long. So if you don't like long tests, TOEFL is not for you. Okay, TOEFL is not for you. Question: where can I buy those IELTS practice books? You can buy anywhere. So if you just go, so these are the books that I usually recommend, guys. The Cambridge IELTS. Okay, just go to just Google and write Cambridge IELTS. I don't know. This is number 12. I think they're up to number 17 now. If you want to get the latest one, you can write by Cambridge IELTS 17. And then you probably get lots of links. Usually Amazon is quite convenient. Okay. Amazon tends to be quite convenient. Someone saying hello, hello. All right. So PTE. Let's talk about the PTE. Alex, you're learning English. Hey, Alexis, how are you? Now, PTE, quick results, but the IELTS also has quick results. Okay. And it's computer based. So everything's on the computer. If you're the kind of person who likes being on the computer, okay, for hours, okay, and talking to the computer, like I said, it's okay. The PTE is for you. Okay. Cons. AI is checking. So artificial intelligence will check everything. Okay. And one thing that happens usually is sometimes, guys, it can be quite tiring too with the PT doing it on the computer. Okay. And quite impersonal doing on the computer. Okay. Another thing with the PT, I have helped some people with the PT. Okay. I have helped. And one thing that happens sometimes is even for me as a teacher when I'm helping people, with the PTE, one activity they give you, they are checking your speaking and your writing, or they're checking your reading and your speaking. So when you see your score, you don't really know what you did wrong. It's hard for you to know. So that's one of the problems I have with the PTE exam. Sometimes hard for me to help some people. Okay, I haven't helped people with the PTE in a long time, but that's one thing that happens too. Also with the PT, most courses out there, they will teach you tricks, which I don't agree with. And again, guys, tricks, templates, even for the IELTS test, they might get you a score, but they usually get you a really low score. Really, really low. If you need a high score, you really need to work on your skills, on your strategies, in your English. So when people come to me, hey, Fabi, can you help me with the PT, with the tricks? And no, no, no. I can help you with English for the PT. And the people I have helped, they succeeded. Okay. But still, I think the IELTS test is a simpler test. And I'll tell you why later. Okay. Okay. For example, silly mistakes, when you do the PTE, for example, silly mistakes are highly penalized in the speaking part. So if you make a mistake and you correct yourself, the computer would just think it's a mistake. But for example, in the IELTS speaking test, if you make a mistake and you correct yourself, you corrected yourself. Like it's normal, isn't it? Sometimes say, hey, good morning. No, good afternoon. Everybody makes mistakes, but if you do that during the PTE exam, you're penalized. Okay. So you're meaning well. Okay. But then in the end of the day, you make a mistake. All right. And again, the PT is not international, is not accepted everywhere. All right. And test centers are still limited. So if you decide to do, guys, don't start practicing and then go do the test. And sorry, start practicing. All right. Invest your time and then check and like, oh my God, there are no test centers in my hometown. I have to travel 5 hours to get there, which is okay. I was talking to a friend last week. She said that she had to go to a different city. She had to stay over at the city because the test was really early. When I did my TOEFL, I had to travel too. But again, I knew that. It was an hour and a half, so it wasn't too bad. But it was tiring, like if I want to do the IELTS test here in Brisbane, it's 20 minutes on the bus or maybe 10 minutes by car, 5 minutes by car, so it's very convenient. And they have a very good Brazilian restaurant right next to the test center, which is amazing. All right, cool. That's it. So mostly pros and cons. Okay, guys. Now, which one is the best for you? If you want, you can pop in the comments which one you think would be best for you. Okay. So, to me, the easiest one to start with is the IELTS. And that's why I teach the IELTS test. It's the easiest one to start with. Why? Because the test itself, what the test is like, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Okay, guys, anyone can do it. It's very simple, very easy, very, very easy to do. Okay, of course, if you need a high score, guys, if you need a 7 or more on the IELTS test, if you need 75 or 80 on the PTE, it's going to be hard. It is going to be hard. So don't come and tell me that the IELTS test is harder. It's not, because lots of people say the PTE is easier. Actually, I'm helping student at the moment with the IELTS test because he has done the PTE 3 times and he could not get the score. Someone told him the PTE was easier, so he tried the PTE 3 times, could not get the score. Paid for a course, which was not very good. Did the test 3 times. He said, I spent about $3,000 and I still don't have my score. So I'm helping him with the IELTS. And he said, wow, it seems simple. It's so simple compared to the PTE. But again, guys, I'm not saying the PTE is bad. I'm just telling you what this person is feeling and how I feel. Which test are you going to do? The one that is best for you. That's why I'm here today, to give you information. Okay. But I don't like when people say that, oh, this test is easier, that test is hard. I don't like when people say that because it's personal. It's personal. All right. It's really personal. What should you do? Do your research, watch this video again, and make your decisions. All right. That's the best thing you can do. Okay. And again, if you watch this video, that doesn't mean you're going to be prepared to do any of the exams. I'm just giving you information so you can choose and you can start your journey. Okay. But I do think that when it comes to the IELTS test is the simpler one. It's way simpler. Okay. And then you go and you do it and you study for it and then you improve. Okay. And also the approach people have to some tests and the courses that are available sometimes can be a problem. Okay. So do your research. That's why I'm here today. Do your research. Last week, I had this conversation with so many people. So many people. And I thought I might as well just make a video and I'll tell people, go watch this video. Okay. Because Yeah, because every day people are asking me, Fabi, which test is easier? Fabi, guys, there is no easier test. The easiest test is the one that is easy for you. Okay, that's the easiest test, the easiest one for you. But how do you know? Do your research. Okay, that's why I'm here today. Okay, so um, for example, with the PTE, some people say that sometimes the microphone doesn't work. If the microphone is in the wrong position, your speaking is terrible. Yeah. And then some people say with the IELTS test, one thing I like about the IELTS test, very consistent, very consistent. And the types of exams I use with my students, okay, I use them, the ones I use with my students, guys. So many students of mine with practice, and then they go do the test, and they said, Fabi, the writing was exactly the same or very similar. Okay, so that's one thing that you guys have to think about. All right. Okay. And again, guys, cost. Okay. They are about the same price, actually. How quickly you get your results. But I think that IELTS and PT are very similar at the moment. Okay. That's it. But again, yeah. So I think I'm just going to sneeze 1 second, please. Sorry. So, I'm gonna go soon, but you can start popping in your questions if you want. I just have one more thing to tell you. There are lots of things people say. For example, one test is easier than the others. Guys, it's not. It's personal. Okay. The reason I choose to work with the IELTS test is because I think that the IELTS test is simpler. It's a simple test. And when you prepare for the IELTS test, you're preparing for what's going to happen after your test. Because again, you don't want the test, you have another goal. And I prepare you for that goal. Okay. That's one reason I choose the IELTS test and I recommend the IELTS test. Okay. TOEFL is only for the United States. TOEFL can be accepted in other countries too. Just check, just double check. Okay. AI grading in the PT is unfair. Yeah, so just think about it, guys. It's a computer. Okay, it's a computer checking. So the computer has a few standards. If you are right, but it's not under the standards of the computer, then the computer will consider incorrect. That's one thing that I'm not that keen on, that I don't like very much about the PTE. Okay, so just think about that. See how you feel about that. Okay. With the PT, sometimes the microphone doesn't work. If it's the wrong position, it's not going to record you properly. So consider all of that when you're choosing your test. Okay, writing for the IELTS test is difficult. Yes, the writing test is difficult if you don't practice properly. Okay, yeah, getting a 7 can be tricky because you need to improve your English, and most people don't want to do that. That's why it's hard. Okay. Speaking is difficult in the PT. Yes. So lots of people fail the speaking part in the PT. Maybe because the microphone, maybe because of that thing I told you that sometimes if you kind of correct yourself, it's a mistake. So you think you're doing the right thing and then you're not. And if you're shy, it's better to do the test, the PT test on the computer. Maybe. However, guys, examiners are really friendly. Okay. Everyone will feel nervous when they're doing the test. It's common, it's normal. Okay. But examiners, IELTS examiners, they are quite friendly. Okay. They're quite friendly. So don't think about that. Okay, cool. I think that's it for me. There were some questions here. If you have more questions, you can pop the questions in. Question here: is the PT just accepted in Australia for studying, or is accepted for work visas also? Uh, Mostly for study, okay, and some visas. So just check, guys. It's funny because the PT is a little bit tricky. Okay, so some places don't accept the PTE. So what you have to do, just check what you need. Usually they will tell you the options: IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, or just IELTS, just TOEFL, just PTE. Okay. So they give you the options. So it depends. Okay, guys, it really depends. Okay. Another question. How about the accent in the speaking part of the IELTS test? Well, it's not about accent. You mean with the questions that people are going to, the examiners? If you're talking about the accent from the examiners, it's actually very clear. Examiners speak really clearly. Okay, guys, they're very good. You can understand them. And if you can't, you can ask them to repeat the question. Okay. But if you're talking about your own accent when you're speaking, you don't need an accent as long as you're clear. Just need to speak clearly. Okay. Any other questions? Let me see. That's it. That's it. Okay. So, guys, what is the easiest test? What is the best one? The best test is the best test for you. The best one, the easiest one is the easiest one for you. Okay. My recommendation is IELTS. It's a simple test. You can start practicing tomorrow. Okay. Whereas the PTE, for example, it takes you a little bit longer to understand the test. Okay. But that's my personal opinion. So, what are you going to do? You are going to do the best for you. Okay. But I really don't like when people say the PT is easy, the IELTS is hard. I don't like that because it's not true. It's not true. The PT might be easy for some people and the IELTS might be hard for other people. So just do what is best for you. And when you're telling people your opinion, just tell them that's how I feel. Okay, like I said before, I'm helping people. I have helped people who came, did the PT so many times, did not get the score, came to the IELTS, did the IELTS, and got the score. You see, so there's no rule. You should do what is best for you. Okay, and if you need help with the IELTS, I'm here to help you. All right, okay. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so this will be recorded. If you have any friends who are struggling to know which test should I do, send them this video, okay? And pop comments in here and I'll be able to answer and give you more information. And again, guys, it's personal, okay? I'm not here to tell you the IELTS is the best. The IELTS is the best in my opinion, and I have my reasons for that. But the main thing is international. It's accepted everywhere. That's one of the reasons I work with the IELTS more than all the other exams. All right, goody goody. So let me know if you have any other questions later. All right. You're very welcome. Some people are saying thank you. You're welcome. All right, I'm gonna go now. Bye.